right, thank you for coming. I'm going to bring up the first presenter. He's no other person than the convener herself, who has the passion to ensure that you are pushed into your next level. With excitement, join me to welcome Mrs. Olayinka Oyetunji. She'll be speaking on becoming the self-leader. If you can make the applause very loud, and one more time loud. Thank you very much.
Please help me give her a round of applause. She flew in last night to be at this conference, and we appreciate you. I also want to say a big thank you to all our speakers. Please give them a round of applause. You know, they are busy people, but they have decided to come. We also thank God for the grace and the opportunity to be able to organize this. It's just by God's grace that we are able to do this. And before I go into my presentation this morning, I want you to please help me thank somebody. My life wire, my support is somewhere. He doesn't want us to know that he's here. My encourager, this guy has been stuck with me since I was 19. I'm 41 now and he's still stuck. Okay, thank you very much. So this morning, I'm going to be speaking on becoming the self-leader of your career. And before I go into this presentation, I first also want to thank you for coming, because we can organize conferences, we can invite you, you may decide not to come. For you being here shows something about you, that you are being deliberate and you want something to change in your career. And like what Didi has said, I've spoken with Odiri, it's like when we were talking, I was like, it's like you peeped into my notes. What we are going to be talking about today is mindset, mind shifts. So I'm going to start by talking about the requirements for a successful career. So what do you need for a successful career? I look at it from two perspectives. You have the internal, which is the genetics, and then you have the external, which are the behaviors that you're supposed to exhibit. So when we talk about the internal, the genetics, there are certain DNA of people that are successful in their career. There are certain things that you will see in people that are successful. These things are internal. You don't see them with your eyes, but they are the things that drive the behavior that you see that eventually leads to the success that you see. And when we're talking about these internal factors, we are looking at things about your mindset, talking about your focus and your drive, your consistency, your confidence. These are things that nobody sees, right? But they are things that then lead to the behaviors that you exhibit. If you look at the behaviors, they are external. There are certain ways people behave. People behave the way they behave because of what they are thinking. And the external factors are the actions or the strategies, the behaviors that people see when you are in that office or in that organization. So the first thing that I want to talk about, I'll first of all deal with the mindset, because really, nothing changes unless your perception has changed. And that is why the mind is the seat of power. Your mind is the seat of power. Your mind is where everything starts and everything ends. You know, I was telling you about this guy that I met when I was 19 years old. I was 100 level in the university. First semester, they told me to go and get BSc in economics. I follow man. Okay, so I was telling you about this, this guy. I met this guy. I was writing my ATS2 then, you know, ICAN ATS2. There were 6 stages in ICAN, and I was writing ATS2. And, you know, had, you know, passed, and I was at the final stage when we had this conversation. And at the final stage, I told him that I was afraid of the final stage. Why? Because of what people had fed me with about the final stage. Then there's something we call MDCS, multidisciplinary case study. It has no syllabus. They just ask you just go to the exam and they ask you anything. It could be corporate finance, it could be accounting, it could be tax, it could be government, it could be just be anything. And I told him that I was afraid. I don't know what, I don't even know how to prepare for the exam in the first place. And there's something he told me 22 years ago. And that thing he told me, I still use it today when I have challenges. And what's that thing? He gave me a quote. He said, throw your mind over the bar and your body will follow. And he gave me a story behind how that works. And up till now, all the difficult challenges I have ever faced, I used that same saying. So what am I trying to tell you? Is that you cannot be different from what you think. Your experience cannot be different from what you think about. So it first has to start with your mind. You have to know that you need to get the right frame of mind and be very intentional about what you think about. You know, it's as bad as what you say to yourself. Do you wake up in the morning and say, oh, Olayinka, you got this, you are so good? Or do you wake up in the morning and say, I don't even want to go to the office, I'm tired? The moment you tell your system that you are tired, or the moment you say, I am tired, your system will help you to act tired. And then immediately your brain begins to do that. So what I'm telling you is that you have to be very careful about your mind. You have to change your mind. You have to believe that there's absolutely nothing you can achieve based on what you think about. The next thing is growth mindset. Growth mindset. Most of us, we are always afraid of failing. And we are afraid of failing because of the way we have defined failure. We are always afraid of trying something and not, letting it pass through us. And you know the funny thing about what failure is? The way I define failure, and which I want you to take away today, is that failure means that you are doing something that you are yet to be good at. And until you quit doing that thing, you haven't failed. If you fail at something, it doesn't make you a failure. Do we understand? Failing at something does not make you a failure. Let me give you a story about what I mean. When I was writing CFA, when I was in CFA level 1, I wrote CFA level 1 with somebody that is close to me. And then I was married. I had a baby. My baby was 9 months old. And when we wrote the exam, I passed. And this person, I won't tell you who the person is, this person didn't pass. When the results came out, this person said, what do they mean that I did not pass? That I'm not doing again. Me in my mind, I'm like, even if they told me that I did not pass 10 times, I will go back and do it until I pass. Why? Because I was used to failing. I've been failing since primary school. They've been telling me I failed in primary school. So if you say, I will just take it that, okay, let's try it again. Do you know what I had learned by failing? Is I had learned to be humble. I had learned to develop grit. I had learned to be persistent. I have learned to say that nothing is impossible. Because if you wrote JAMB 4 times, if you did not win prize in primary school, if you went to public school because you could not pass federal government college exams, it shows you're a failure, right? So through those experiences, I had learned to develop grit. And you know something about your career and about your life? It's not about intelligence. I'm not the most intelligent, but I might be the most resilient. Because you can't tell me something is impossible. Now I'm standing here today, I'll still give you the gist. Shows that everything is possible. So what am I trying to tell you? Please embrace failure. Challenge yourself to do, things that you actually think you can't do. Don't ever confuse a bend for an end. When you're going through a road, there are some roads that they turn this way. And if you're standing at a particular point, you might think that's the end of the road. But it's actually not an end, but it's actually a bend. Let me give you an example. Of course, with my story. My first job, I lost that first job 4 years into it. I lost my first job 4 years into it in the midst of global recession, which means companies were laying off and not hiring. So my being able to get a new job was very bleak. I could have gathered pity parties, complained, about, why did they sack me? Were they supposed to sack me? Me that I gave them my all, me that I didn't, kiniko, all those things that we used to complain about. But what did I do? I took it as an opportunity to give myself a career switch. So it's actually not what happens to you that matters. It is how you respond to what happens to you. So if in life, life has seasons. Life has seasons. Life happens. You hear where people say life happens. When they tell you life happens, it means life has gone the way you didn't plan it to go. Career too happens. Life happens inside career, which means that your career may not go the way you have planned. You've missed promotions. Do you want to know how many promotions we have missed? Oh, God, you don't want to know. We've missed promotions, but we move. Why do we move? Because we know that it is a bend. So when those things, supposedly challenging things, happen to you, what you are supposed to do is to find how to launch yourself into something greater. Is to find out how you will not let that crisis go to waste. Because for every challenge, there's something for you to learn. Even if it's for you to build character, build humility, build resilience, build passion. Because that's what you are seeing today. And you know, at that time when I lost my career, it was like the world was coming down. Of course, there were days that I would be discouraged and cry, but thank God for support. And every time I look back, I always thank God that thing happened. Because if that job loss did not happen, I can tell you, I know where I would be. My husband used to make fun of me that you'd be somewhere up in a shop selling, he would say you'll be selling clothes. And that's exactly what would have happened. But that job loss, because of the way I saw it, you know, I was able to relaunch myself. Can I go on? Focus and drive. Focus and drive. I'm sorry to tell you, nobody wakes up to find themselves successful. You don't just sleep and wake up and suddenly you're successful. It doesn't happen. Success is intentional. It is deliberate. If you don't like the word intentional, it is deliberate. It is a function of hard work. I don't know what we call smart work. I don't know that one, but I know hard work. It's a function of hard work, sacrifice, and self-denial. If you are not ready to pay the price, you are not ready to go for it. Because something must give. Something must give. When I was writing the CFA, go and check it out. The CFA is one of the most difficult exams in the world. One of the most difficult exams in the world. I wrote it with 3 children, like my youngest was months, was a newborn, in fact. Youngest was a newborn. And you know what I did? Because I really wanted to distinguish myself in my industry, I wake up at 2 a.m. every day, 2 a.m. every day, and I did it for 5 years. Wake up 2 a.m. Sometimes we can't do, because we could not buy fuel for generator. We can't do. And I'll read from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., get my kids ready for school. 7 a.m., be on my way to work. When you see me at 8 o'clock, my day did not start 8 o'clock. I have invested in myself before starting my day. Those were sacrifices, but there was something I understood, which is that everything is a season. Now, I can choose to wake up at 10 a.m. if I'm not going to work. I did not say, please, because before you can't tell my boss that she said she can't go. You understand what I'm saying? I can choose to be anywhere I want to be. Not because I've stopped learning, no, but because I know that there are certain dues that have been paid. Don't let it be said of you that is lazy. You know, we know some people at your workplace, you know, everything you tell them, they'll be telling you the ways in which it can't be done. And people have already formed an opinion. But don't let it be said of you, by the factor of the fact that you are here, that you are lazy. Last mindset that I want to talk about is your responsibility. What is your responsibility? See yourself as a business, right? See yourself as a business, and that you are the CEO. Nobody owes you a career. Nobody owes you a career. Your organization does not owe you a career. Your HR is not the manager of your career. Your career is yours to build. You should be responsible for your career. You should take control of it. You should own it. And what do CEOs do? If you go to an organization, what do CEOs do? They plan. They manage stakeholders. They take strategic decisions, and they develop strong work ethics. That's what your responsibility should be as somebody building a career. Do you know that your organization has choices? The fact that they've given you the opportunity to be there all right, means that they believe in you. And you should not take it for granted, because if you build your career, you are invariably building the organization and building the nation. So what does that mean about a CEO? It means you have to stay focused. Stay focused. And I'm going to talk about that staying focused when I move to the next slide. First thing that CEOs do is to plan. You must have a vision. You can't just be waking up and resuming at work. You don't know what you want to do with yourself or your life. No, it doesn't work that way. You must have a goal. You must have something that you want to achieve. You must know what winning means to you. Have you ever seen a football match being played and they don't know the goalpost? Some of us, we don't know the goalpost of our lives. You don't know the goalpost for your career. You don't know what winning means for you. If you don't know what winning means for you, you won't even know when you win. That's the meaning. And if you won't even know the people that you need to take along the journey of the winning. And I will break it down. I told you when I met my husband that I was writing ICAN, right? Writing ICAN, 19 years old, very serious human being. Anytime the guy is talking to me, I'm telling him how I want to become a chartered accountant before undergraduate. I bought him tire. I don't even know how he survived. But you know what that did? He told me one day, he said, when I met you, I knew you were going to be a career woman. That I knew that this is what I'm signing up for. And I asked myself, is this what I want? And he said, my answer was yes. So after ICAN, it was easy for the two of us to acquire the other certificates. So even though my charter is in my name, there are people behind, though, that we wrote the exams together. Do you understand? So what am I telling you? I'm telling you that you need to know where you are going. You yourself, you need to know where you are going. Because by knowing where you are going, you would also know the people that you need to go with you. It is very important. Let me tell you. And you can go and ask if you don't believe me. The first and the most important decision for your career is not the job that you take. It's not the professional exams that you want to write. It's not even being in this conference. This conference is not important. Do you know what is most important? The person you choose to marry. Go and ask anybody. See, because, and I'll get there, other slides. It is very important. And that's why I said, you yourself, you have to know where you are going. So imagine, my husband would tell you, he makes a lot of sacrifices for us, for me. Why? Because there are times that when I was writing CFA, I was not just there for 5 years. You know, the person is there, but the person is not just there. If the person did not know that this is what he's signing for, what do you think will happen? He will be frustrated, I will be frustrated, and you eventually know what it will lead to. So I'm saying that, please, get a vision for yourself. And in my next slide, of course, I'm going to talk about it. It leads to my next slide. Managing stakeholders. Anybody that wants to succeed needs people. This career thing is not a one-man business, so it's not a loner business. Nobody does career by himself. You are dead on arrival. A career requires the identification and management of certain people. Your clients have a say in your career. If you deliver poor quality work, sure, you know your career is finished. If you don't manage your boss, you know some of us will be saying, my boss, wicked boss, something boss, and you'll be fighting your boss. I'm smarter than my boss. Why shouldn't you be smarter than your boss? You've not done anything. Do you think if I want to hire somebody, I'll hire somebody foolish than Abby? Will I hire somebody foolish? No, I hired you because I want you to add value to me. And the only way you can add value to me is by being smarter than me. So if you are smarter than your boss, you've not done anything. You're just doing your work. So get that straight. Some of us, you'll be fighting your boss. There's something that I heard my Oga say, and he's here, Osinachi. He said, people don't promote their enemies. I can never forget that thing. He said, will you promote your enemy? If your boss sees you as an enemy, do you think he will promote you? No. So you have to learn how to manage people, manage your boss. how to be a problem solver for your boss. Even if your boss does not like you, if you are delivering, by fire, by force, they will like you. Right? If you are adding value, by fire, by force, they would recognize you. So, learn how to manage your bosses. Learn how to manage your colleagues. Everybody is important on that value chain. Because there is no self-made success. No self-made success. Life partner, we've talked about that. We also need cheerleaders and accountability partners. You see, there's no way I can talk. I'm sorry, my husband, that I'm embarrassing you, but there's no way I can share my story. You've been part of the story for 22 years, so it's not my fault. You see, when I was doing my first job, I became so comfortable because of the money. You see money. What are you looking for? So I'll go to work. Adding no value, just going to work. Not adding, not learning anything, just go to work. Whenever I come home from the office, then we didn't have children. I'll just settle in front of the TV and be watching TV. And my husband will say, but this is not what you said you want to do. Every day will be hounding me, accountability partner or not. I will be like, after a while, I'm sorry if you don't understand Yoruba, sorry. The people that understand, please help me interpret. I'm a Yoruba girl, I'm sorry. I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm the one that shared the vision. I say I'm not doing it again. Is it by force? So what am I saying? You need accountability partners, people that will hold you responsible. Imagine coming, after doing your rubbish throughout the day in the name of work, you come out, sit down in front of TV. What TV? Oh, I will watch all seasons of all sorts. Now, I don't even have time to watch TV. The TV in my house, I don't even turn it on. Even when I go to hotels, they'll say, Madam, can we put on your TV? I said, don't worry. I don't need it. My husband will be like, this is not what you said you would do. This is not what you told me you want to become. And I'll be like, please, leave me alone. Shebi, I shared it. Okay, I'm not going again. Abi, until they sacked me. When they sacked me, now say, hey, welcome back. That your CFA book that you left on the shelf for 3 years, come and do it. That your CFA, come and do it. That your CIS that you have abandoned midway, come and complete it. You need accountability partners because life happens to us. Life happening can be money taking you away from your dreams. It can be wrong company taking you away from your dreams. It could be anything. Now, as the CEO, it's your responsibility to take strategic decisions. Please, if you don't take anything away today, the second thing I want you to take away, I've talked about the first thing, which is that don't give up too soon. And that's my message. Don't ever give up too soon. Second message, if at all, is that you need to tie your career to your purpose. You need to tie your career to your purpose. You know, we are all on earth to do something. We all have assignments. And research has shown that it is people that are able to tie that career to their purpose that find it rewarding and fulfilling. And what is that purpose? In a book by Angela Duckworth, she defined purpose as finding how the work you do matters to other people other than yourself. So your purpose is finding how what you do matters to other people outside of yourself. Do you know one of the reasons that I wake up in the morning energized to go to work and to excel? It's because I know there are so many people that my life will inspire. So even when I don't want to show up, I show up because of you. Even when I don't want to excel, I excel because of some younger women that will look at me and say, if Olayinka can do this, we are inspired to do more. People that are able to do this are the ones that, excel in their career. Now, if you look at what I do, I'm a consultant. I work in one of the big 4 firms. But that's not how I describe myself or I see myself. I see myself as changing people's lives. So if I help a company to raise capital, for example, which is what I do, or I help a company to do a due diligence, which is what I do, I see it as I've saved somebody's job. I see it as I have helped somebody's family. because somebody would have lost his job if not for that capital raise. A business would have gone under if not for that capital raise. So that is what purpose is. How does what I do, how does it benefit other people? I see myself as somebody saving lives if I work on a hospital project. So it's not that they just said, oh, Olayinka, come and do valuation. I see it as I've saved somebody's life. Because if the hospital is not able to do this thing, somebody would have died. And with that, being able to identify the purpose is what gives courage. Because let me tell you, there are times you just don't feel like it. There are times you wake up and you just don't want to show up. But you show up nonetheless because of those people. So the key question you need to ask yourself, is, what is what I'm doing? How is it making the world a better place? How is what I'm doing making the world a better place? And you know how this happens? It happens by how you see what you do. So it leads me to the second point. Develop the right perception. How do you see what you are doing? Do you know we can be doing the same thing? And what I see what I'm doing differently than the way you see it. Let me give you an example. We all wrote ICAN. Somebody would describe himself as an accountant. Somebody will say, I'm an accountant. That is a job, which means I just go there, collect their money, I do accounting for them, and I get out. Somebody will say, I keep the financial records of the organization. That person is seeing a career. But somebody will say, I build the financial future of the organization. That person is seeing purpose. That person is seeing something that is beyond them. And that's the only way you can excel. Seeing a job is the least entry point. Anybody can have a job. We can have the same thing. So it's not a function of the role, even if you're carrying files in your organization. See it as you're advancing something, not just, oh, I just carry file. The boss just said I should carry file, I'm carrying file. No, it's beyond that. And you know what purpose means? It means you are carrying other people's problem as your problem, and you're a problem solver. You're a problem solver to your boss. If your boss needs something urgently or needs help, or it's your name that should come up that, oh, let me call Joy. She can do it. You should be a problem solver. That's purpose. Being a problem solver. Another thing is that CEOs of your career, you need to have a long-term view. Your career has different seasons. I've shared some of the seasons of mine with you. But you need to give yourself time to discover yourself, even on that job that you are doing. You see, that microwave mentality, fast food mentality does not work with career. You know, the way you prepare for a marathon is different from the way you prepare for a sprint. You need to always remember that. Always remember that you are in your career for a long time. And if you are there for a long time, there are certain decisions you will take. For example, you will not choose money over experience, like I did in my first job. You will not say, oh, they are paying me this, and you are not looking at the skills that you are building, the investment that you are making in yourself, all right, in making that decision. Have a long-term view. It is always very important. And also giving yourself time. I remember there was I had a colleague, when she joined my team. After 3 months, she came to meet me. I don't like this unit. I want to move. I said, why? You just joined 3 months. Where are you going? She said, I'm not cut out for this. How did you know you are not cut out for this? You've not even given yourself time. She said, no, I know I'm not cut out for this. I want to move somewhere else. I said, okay. Whilst we are helping you, I'll help you to find a space where you want to go. But I still believe that you can give yourself time. That was about 3 years ago. She's now cut out for it. So when there was space for her to move, I now said, okay, I found opportunity for you to go. She said she's not going. I said, why? And she said she now likes it. I said, no, but you were not cut out for it. She said, I'm now cut out for it. What does that mean? We don't give ourselves time. We always rush ourselves. You have not even developed even know all the things in the field that you are playing. You say, I don't know it, or I don't like it, or I'm not cut out for this. Please, give yourselves time. Build your technical competence. Technical competence is very important. And what does that mean? It means that you should continually add value to yourself. Always read, invest in yourself. Take professional exams. If you're an accountant, we shouldn't be asking you or begging you to go and write the relevant professional exams. And I'm not just talking about, taking certifications without adding value, right? It's not just about, I'm ACA, CFA, something, and they will ask you question. You'll be looking like, oh, do you know that, when I qualified, I realized that it is more important to defend the CFA than to acquire it. So that I will not go and disgrace the CFA. They'll say, is this the person you gave the charter to? Do you understand? So you continually need to invest in yourself. The technical skills will open the door for you to enter. If you don't have the technical skills, nobody is going to hire you. But the soft skills will keep you in the door. Do you understand? So it's important that you are building your soft skills, relationship building, networking, leadership, conflict resolutions. These are things that you also need to build. And I also have it here. Pay attention to the details. And what are those details? The way you look. There are some people, when they are doing appraisal, they are sound, though everybody knows they are very good. But nobody wants to move them to the next level. They'll just be saying, there's something. That something is the way the person looks. You're not looking like you're ready for that level. Pay attention to your grooming, your dressing. It's important. So it's not just you are reading book. Because before people wait to hear what you have to say, what do they first of all? How do you look? Am I lying? When all of you came, you said, oh, okay. You first of all size the person up before you even hear, am I lying? I'm not lying. And it happens at work as well. So if you're not looking it, they are not going to give you the opportunity. Image, personal brand. Everybody has a wow factor. I have mine, you have yours. Find a way to always communicate your wow factor. That's your personal brand. Never relegate it. Get mentors and coaches. Clean. Networking, mentoring, get coaches as well. Why do you want to go this route when somebody has gone there and seen that there's no route there? Why do you want to go and find out by yourself? Get mentors and coaches that you can learn from, that can give you the right relationships, that can share their stories with you. Ask for feedback. It's also very important. Some of us, when they give you feedback, you'll be defending the feedback. No, what do you mean? I'm good. Anytime people give you feedback, just take it and find a way in which to leverage it. And when they tell you that, oh, Jennifer, you have done so well, say thank you. Don't say, no, it's nothing. It's something, no. It's something. In fact, if they did not remember to give you the feedback, find a way of putting it in a mail to show your good feedback by yourself. Craft the work. No employer wants to hire an employee or a worker. Everybody wants a thinker. So for that role that you have been given, think of how to expand on it. Be proactive. Don't wait for people to tell you what to do before you do what you're supposed to do. It's very important. Craft the work in a way that it is meaningful for you, in a way that it makes, impact for you. Volunteer to do more. See, if you are not doing more than you are paid to do, you have not started. So think about it. This salary that my employer has paid me, have I done more than they have paid? That's the only way you are building yourself. Because those things that you are doing, it is for yourself. You are building yourself. Whether or not they give you promotion, whether or not they promote you or they appreciate you or they recognize you or they reward you, think about it that I'm getting something from this employer, which is skills that I'm learning, which nobody can take from you. Also, act like a partner. Don't do like, is it my business? I'll just do what is not in my JD. If you've ever said it in your work that this is not my JD, please stop saying it too. If I hear somebody say it's not my JD, in my mind, I'm like, this person is not ready. What's your JD? Who wrote JD? More importantly, have the right attitude. You see, technical skills with bad behavior is bad news. Have the right attitude. Be consistently excellent. Be hardworking. All right, be passionate and proactive. Let people, know that, yes, you love what you are doing. Love what you are doing and find ways in which, to continually add value. So let me conclude. And in conclusion, I will say that your career is a journey that is tied to your purpose, involving other people, and a accumulation of decisions you make at critical moments. To build a rewarding career, you must define what success means to you and know how your career makes the world a better place. Thank you for listening.